Hi everyone. Um, I've been riding my e-bike a lot lately, so I've been wanting to get some lights for it because I want to ride it at night. I didn't want to spend too much money, so I ordered this cheap one on eBay. We're gonna wire it today and see if it's any good. I think a hardwired option is pretty good since I already have a battery on my e-bike, and I don't really want to deal with, like removing the lights and their own separate little battery systems. Yeah, so let's take a look, try to wire it up and see if it's any good. It's a pretty standard box. There's just a little pull tab on the side. Looks like we got our actual controls here. There's the actual light switch, a horn, some of the plugs, then looks like our headlight right here. And I believe the headlight, yeah, it's got the horn is built into the back. We'll see if that's actually any quality. This kit was $30, so a little hopeful, but not super hopeful. And here's our tail light. Looks like it actually even has a license plate mount too, which is pretty cool. Here's the bike we'll be installing it on. This is the Luna Cyclone 3000 watt kit. It's been fantastic. I have it paired with a 48 volt battery. Really no complaints about this kit. This is super fun Bianchi? Correct me if I'm wrong. Frame that it's on. Yeah, no, I love this bike. It's been super good. I think how I'm gonna start is, 3-speed hub, if you were curious. I think I'm gonna start with taking a look at the controller in here and seeing just what extra wires I have, checking their voltages, seeing, if they're still hot or if they're controlled just by the throttle up there. All I did was unstrap and disconnect the battery, then open up the controller box and test the voltage of each wire. Looks like these are all the ones I have to work with, and every single one of these outputs 5 volts, except this one, 24 volt fan. Can you guess what it outputs? If you guess 24, then you can read, that's good. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if I give it throttle a little bit or max or no throttle, they'll all still continuously output 5 volts or 24. So I think this 24 volt one is probably the one I'm going to work with. The wiring was really simple to follow, since the listing on eBay showed how everything should be connected. Some of the plugs were even color coordinated, so it was pretty hard to mess this part up. Once I had everything wired up, the power input on the wiring for the lights and the 24 volt power from the controller were both male, so I ordered some parts online and waited for them to arrive. It's been a couple days. You know how life is sometimes. I try to dress in the same thing so it looks like it's the same day, but I guess it doesn't matter because now you know. I ordered some GST SM connectors, the 2-pin ones. I didn't want to splice into the kit or the actual e-bike. Yeah, just keep it a little cleaner that way. Yeah, I didn't have a heat gun, so I had to use the next best thing in my arsenal, a hair dryer. Alright, so splice them together. The wires on this black 2-pin one I bought were actually swapped, but it's okay because if you notice, red goes to red and black goes to black. Just a little confusing. The hair dryer didn't really work as I wanted to, but here goes nothing. Nothing cooking? That's good. It works. I know it's really simple, but there's always that fear that I'm just about to fry something. Here's the turn signal on. And the headlight. Honestly, pretty good. I'm excited to try it out at night. And the horn. That's what we're all really waiting for. Oh, that's so funny. Brake light. Oh, brake light looks like, oh, I see. The brake light turns on when the headlight turns on. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now that I knew everything was working, I started on securing the lights and wiring to the bike. The headlight was able to mount with one of the screws used for the handlebars, but the taillight was giving me trouble. I was only using the resources I had on hand, so I started to, I guess you could call it fabricate, a mount around the seat post for the taillight. Cut something up and filed it. Headlight mounted on nicely. Oh, ish. You know, the $30 are really starting to show because of just the cheap mounting solutions. I ended up just mounting it right on my handlebars here, and I feel like this came out pretty decent. You know, I got the nice adjustment here. I can always lock it in with that nut. It's not like perfectly straight. I don't know if you can see. So that bothers me a bit. The real issue though right now is this tail light. I'm trying to work with just what I have. Don't really want to go to the hardware store. Trying to see if this bracket works, but it's just so janky, you know? And it's not perfectly like in the center with the seat post, which I also don't like. Just the perfectionist in me talking. I'm gonna explore some different options, and if I don't really have anything, I'll just run that for now. I ended up just flipping the light on this license plate mount and then using the license plate mount and I really honestly just zip tied it straight to the seat post. It works, and it's actually more centered now. I feel like this is going to be one of those permanent temporary solutions. I hope not, but you know, it's on there pretty good. So yeah, we're just going to trim these up and keep on wiring it up. Trimmed the zip ties and continued with cleaning up the wiring on the bike. When I touched the headlight, I realized the bolt I put it through actually didn't hold, so I removed it to try something else. I had to remove the grip on the left side and the brake lever to add the buttons, and it was such a pain, but eventually it came off. Cable tied all the wires up front and installed the headlight back on. You could probably guess what I used for the headlight mount. Started to move down the post towards the controller. Working with a lot more wires now, so I zip tied and cleaned up as much as I can so it would cleanly fit into the controller box. Screwed the box shut, tested the lights, attached it back onto the bike, and moved on. Got it all wired up. So for this headlight mount, I actually had to also resort to zip ties because I thought the screw could hold this part in, but the screw wasn't long enough. So I think I need to go to the hardware store and get a longer screw so I could actually hold it in because it won't reach through this mount and actually hold the handlebar in. So another quote temporary solution. What else? I realized I put this on upside down, but that's really not that big of a deal. I'm gonna probably do that off camera. Just need to take these two nuts and flip it and screw it back in. Verdict. I gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed. You know, for $30 free shipping, I was expecting something really bad, but the wiring was nice and color coordinated. These switches, I mean, they're plastic, but they really don't feel bad. They feel pretty nice to the touch. We'll see how it looks at night. That's the most important part, you know? The only major flaw is really just these mounts. I wish there was a much better mounting solution. Maybe I'm completely overlooking something. If I am, please let me know. Always looking for feedback. But for $30, everything else checked out. It's really just the mounts was the only tricky part here. Stoked to try it out. I also, like I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I think I'm gonna order a wire loom just to wrap all this together into one wire and tuck it a little better. I just don't like how, you know, some of this stuff is still exposed and it's using electrical tape. You know, at this point, I need a wiring harness, you know, so I want to make it nice and one uniform piece. Well, have some bad news. Took it out for a spin, and the throttle was doing nothing. So I was like, oh, it must be drawing too much voltage. Just tried it, unplugging all the lights, and nothing works anymore. The controller is hot. Looks like it's popped. Probably need a new controller. Yeah, I feel really dumb doing this. In hindsight, I should have researched more about electronics before wiring the lights into the controller, but it's all part of the learning experience, so I'm not beating myself up too much. Anyways, if you're more experienced than me and know what I did wrong to make this happen, I would love to hear your advice. And if you know where I could get a replacement controller, I would also love to know, since everything related to this kit is discontinued on the Luna Cyclone website. Stay tuned because I'll post an update video once I get this fixed up.